Hello to all those beautiful patrons and the people who waited a whole year just to see this, but with colors. Bear Claw Billy here. We're about to start the Recorded in a Town Square episode of Fix My Car Cast. You may notice this is not a town square. This is just my room. Gonna do the intro right here, using the handheld mic just for some audio consistency, because sometimes it drives my brain a little nuts to hear the click over. I didn't do this for the train episode, but whatever. I don't know if there's gonna be, types of people in the square. I'm a little more worried about this one. It's a pretty central hub to Portland, Maine. Don't know if you've ever been there, but you should check it out. It's a lovely gentrification. But right now we're here in Columbus, Ohio, Maine, and I am about to kick off the beginning of the episode, which has some exciting surprises. And hopefully not more exciting surprises when we get out there in the real world. But okay, let me think of an opening line. I love the ones in public. And this is me being quiet, so I know where the theme song goes. This must be your favorite part every week. You're listening to Fix My Car Cast, hosted by Bear Claw Billy, and this is episode 90. Comedian and musician Keith Hebert is on the town, but first, housekeeping. This is the show where you pick what I say and how I say it. Pick a topic or prompt by donating to the GoFundMe, and vote on the gimmick by joining my Patreon for just $1 a month. Join at the $5 or higher level and also get bonus episodes and behind-the-scenes footage. Links are in the description. Also down there, merch. Get yourself some merch. Maybe this gorgeous merch that I'm wearing right now, which you can't see if you are listening to the audio episode. We have a new donor this week, Carmina Burlesque. Carmina donated $20 to the GoFundMe. Thank you so much, Carmina. The total raised for paying off my car repair debt is now $1,521. Be honest, you missed the stills a little bit. Also, when we get to $2,000, we unlock an automatic show gimmick, which is I will watch all the Fast and Furious movies back to back and then record my podcast at the end. When I say back to back, I mean literally. When one ends, the next one starts. There's like 11 of those things. So just please understand the intensity of this one. It's going to be the worst gimmick. Fun fact, did you know that this whole podcast disappears when we hit $3,000? If streaming services can pretend entire shows never happened, so can I. Hey, do you like the theme song? No? Well, if you make a donation of $50 or more, in addition to picking an episode topic, you get to change one thing about the theme song forever, unless somebody else changes it back. Want me to add a trio of sailors singing about their shore leave in the big city? I'll do it. $50. We also have a new patron this week. Thank you, Matt, for becoming a Bear Claw bestie. I hope you enjoy all the Patreon perks that come with being such a dedicated fan. Also, Matt is the first recipient of the Nutmeg Award. Congratulations, Matt. If the rest of you listeners don't know what that is, well, you gotta join the Patreon, where you get twice as many episodes of Fix My Car Cast with all sorts of secret lore that only the best and smartest and most attractive members of my cult fan base get to know about. Now it's time for a topic suggestion. I'll suggest topics I think I could easily talk about for a whole episode, though admittedly I think the show is more fun when it's something I'm completely clueless about. So, something I could talk about is my gender identity journey. Yes, I usually talk about silly shit here on Fix My Car Cast, but many people have expressed an interest in learning more about how I came to embrace my gender fluidity. I'd be happy to tell the story, but keep in mind it could end up being the same week I have to talk like Dr. Zoidberg or eat a whole box of frozen waffles or something. Want to know more? Donate today. And now, a friendly reminder that I have a spooky new album out. 'Tis the season. It's called Cult Horror, Original Motion Picture Soundtrack, and it is both a love letter to horror movie scores and a concept album as a soundtrack to a film that doesn't exist. So please go check it out, leave a review, tell your friends, etc., etc. Check the links in the description, and enjoy the album that one friend said was inspired by all of the greats. Warms my heart. I love when people pick up on what I'm going for on a project. Also, no new data on the physical effects of my album Etholog. One of you said, ow, and one of you said, ooh. Checking in on the best city in the world, based on which city listened to the last episode the most. And our big winner is Portland, Maine, which is an interesting coincidence that will become more obvious in about 3 minutes. Congratulations, Portland, Maine. You did it. You beat Westbrook. Let it be known that your Palm Gardens, Gutta House, and Stadel Museum are the best in the world for 7 days. Last episode, I talked about Lester Frankel while drunk. You can see video of the entire episode, including the recipe for the drink I made and some extra being too sloppy to get the show started. I'm not kidding, it's embarrassing. Over on Patreon. Also, head over to Patreon for a bonus episode where I talk about how I need to raise $600 by October 6th. By the way, I need to raise $600 by October 6th. Yep, it's car shit again. If you've ever thought about donating to fix my CarCast or telling all the well-off in this house we believe love is love liberals that frequent your co-op about this show, well, now is the perfect time to do it. Get me listeners, get me dollars. I appreciate it so much. I love you all in a thanks for your support way, but not in a parasocial. Anyway, okay, let's talk next week's gimmick poll. These are your choices for next week's episode gimmick. They are recorded at the fair, do a Droopy the dog voice, attempt a Sudoku puzzle, I've never done one, and incorporate 10 lines from a random philosophy book. That's our returning gimmick. Let me go down those again. Number 1, recorded at the fair. Number 2, do a Droopy the dog voice. Number 3, attempt a Sudoku puzzle. And our returning gimmick, number 4, incorporate 10 lines from a random philosophy book. Remember that any gimmick that gets just a single vote is eligible for a second chance in 6 weeks. Be sure to vote over on Patreon. The poll closes September 28th at noon Eastern America time. All right, time for today's gimmick, which is recorded in a town square. Of course, gimmicks don't start until housekeeping is out of the way in case any of them prevent me from sharing vital information. So, right now, I'm in my bedroom in Columbus, Ohio, Maine, but in just a moment, I'm going to snap my fingers and I'll be in scenic Monument Square in Portland, Maine. Ready? And now we are in the gimmick zone. Okay, I wasn't ready for this. From this point on, gimmicks are active and everything is improvised. Today's topic comes to us from Carmina Burlesque for $20, and I've been asked to talk about Little Monsters, the upcoming burlesque show right here in Portland, and my thoughts on the local burlesque scene. So before I get to that, thanks for sponsoring. And by the way, if anyone else out there, you got anything coming up, you got anything to promote, great place to do it, right here on Fix My CarCast. So I am in Monument Square in Portland. Behind me is a statue of Temperance Monument, the inventor of Portland. And yeah, people are walking all around. It's a Saturday night. Things are fun. Things are happening. So we'll see who we can talk to. But in the meantime, we're going to talk about burlesque, baby. So let me get to the ad read part. I'm juggling a mic and an iPad right now. So if you'll permit me to be just an awkward pile of awkward, I'll get right to it. Let me make sure I got everything right. You know, you really shouldn't have a handheld mic when you also have to work with an iPad. So here's what you need to know about the upcoming Little Monsters. Them Burlesque presents Divas Night Tribute. It is Lady Gaga Burlesque. That is Saturday, September 30th, 2023, in case you're listening to this in the future, at 8 p.m. Once again, that's Saturday, September 30th at 8 p.m. in the year of 2002-3. That is at Empire Live in Portland, Maine, USA. Earth, $20 admission, hosted by Clams Casino, and have we got a lineup for you? It's Rosie Havoc, Elixir, Georgie Petals, Polatoria, Captain Falcom, Complete Destruction, Carmina, Moose Money, Mixed Demeanor, and Thomas Foolery. So check that out. That's the important part that I needed to tell you. Now, that doesn't take 23 minutes to say, so I'm going to do a little vamping now. I will be talking about the local burlesque scene. I do want to say that Carmina is the one who sponsored this episode. Thank you so much, Carmina. I actually met Carmina in the local burlesque scene. The last time I saw her was in Gradients, a BIPOC show. I took some notes in case I messed anything up. That show was August 5th, 2023. Highly enjoyed it. Carmina's bit was amazing. I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, but she performed a style of dance called Bharatanatyam. And it was amazing. Like this real like goddess vibe, and like I was just mesmerized. It was amazing. And that show was great. I learned like so much. Like it was very informative, and that's kind of what I want to talk about is like burlesque is like very informative. I mean, it can be a lot of things. It can be silly, it can be sexy, but like also it's very political. It has something to say. I'm just kicking it from the hip here, but like, you seen that there Barbie movie? Like, I feel like burlesque is in the same wheelhouse of like, yes, you can sit someone down and have a very important and meaningful and kind of boring conversation with them, or you could set it to a pop song and shake your ass, and now you're learning. So yeah, I really love burlesque for that. Like, burlesque has made me think about a lot of things. The Gradients show, I learned about Yol Alarong, a rock musician who is presumed to have been killed during the Cambodian genocide under the Khmer Rouge between 1975 and 1979. Very tragic, but his songs are incredible. And that was performed by Viagra Falls, who also created that show, and I hope there's going to be more shows like that. Gradients, a BIPOC show, was actually the first burlesque and drag show in Maine featuring only BIPOC performers, so I was there to see history happen in action, and I was glad to be a part of it. It was an amazing show. I learned about sex workers' rights. I learned about, music and culture from all around, and it was incredible. Like, it truly, like, it's educational. Like, if you watch like a lot of Bill Nye, this might not seem like a correlation, but burlesque may be for you. Like, it's, putting a little fun and a little panache and some sound effects on it. So I'm a huge fan. And I think the first time I saw Carmina, unless I have a terrible memory, was Where No One Has Stripped Before. Yeah, a Star Trek burlesque show. And in that one, Carmina, again, our lovely sponsor for today, she did a reverse striptease as a Ferengi. So glasses push. If you don't know this, Ferengi are not allowed to wear clothes culturally, and so she did a reverse striptease where she came out mostly naked and put clothes on for money because Ferengi also really value capital. It was amazing. There were so many amazing moments from that show. I am, of course, a huge Trekkie. Check out the episode To Boldly Explore Siaku, where I improvise an entire Star Trek episode off the top of my head. Or check out Mr. X Talks About Star Trek, where I make my Trekkie friend have to be wrong about Star Trek for 30 whole minutes. Fun times. Such a good show, though. I took some notes just because I'm like, man, there was so much in that show that I loved. Fantasia Night, just straight dropping it as Michael Burnham. Minx Money came out as the Enterprise. Glorious nacelles, let me tell you what. Kinky Slipper did a chair dance as Riker. I was in the audience, and suddenly I realized, wait a minute. Riker, he does the thing where he puts his leg over a chair dance. There's gonna be a chair dance as Riker. It was like this a second before she came out. I was like, that's what it's gonna be. It was amazing. So many amazing things. Crusher and Troy Aerobics, Pixel Angel, and Clams Casino, which brings me back around to the show you're supposed to see, hosted by Clams Casino. That is Them Presents Divas Night Tribute. Little Monsters, that is going to be Lady Gaga burlesque, or maybe cabaret or drag. I don't actually know exactly what's going to be in the show. Full disclosure, Carmina and I have been chatting, and Carmina's been like sharing little tidbits about what she has planned for the show. I don't know what anybody else is doing. I cannot wait to see it. Honestly, a lot of names I don't recognize on the list, but I cannot wait to know them soon, because I love burlesque. I think it's great. Like, it's one of my favorite art forms. I did a lot of it. I'm gonna put the iPad away because I feel like it is hindering my ability to flow my thoughts. Let me pop it into the pocket. Sorry about that. I didn't plan very well. I like to have the hand mic. It's easier to wander around. You have a little more control over stuff. Again, I'm here in Monument Square. I'm just hanging out, talking about burlesque. Yeah, it's really dark. I don't know if you can tell from the way things look here, or, if you're listening and you can't see anything. You know what, if you're listening to just the audio version, it's probably really dark. But yeah, I feel like I'm mostly getting avoided by people who just don't want to figure out what this is, and their loss. So yeah, I actually did a fair amount of burlesque stuff back in the day. When was that? Well, I don't actually remember. I do remember my very first moment of I want to do that. I had seen some burlesque-y, cabaret-ish, burlesque-like things, but I remember vividly, I want to say it was 2014, 2015, and I will never forget, I went to a Disney-themed burlesque show. And of course, once again, burlesque being the wonderful subversive thing that it is, they're not just doing Disney songs. It's not just, hey, here's a Disney song, I'm dressed like whatever princess is your favorite. Though of course there was that too, but like there was recontextualization. And you know me, you know I love parody, you know I love satire, you know me because we've been friends for years and we go way back. And so what I really loved, was the way it sort of changed the context of the original. One of my absolute favorites, a performer named Mrs. Fucksmart. She did Part of Your World from The Little Mermaid, but recontextualized it to be about sexuality, which in fairness, the original, there's a lot of subtext about that anyway, but like made it very blatant with like, look at these thingamabobs and you can guess what shape the thingamabobs were, and wanting to go to that world. That actually wasn't the one that hit me. I remember for me, it was actually, I never remember if the title of the song is Be a Man or I'll Make a Man Out of You. Probably I'll Make a Man Out of You, from Mulan, which is, of course, the soldier's song. But what's interesting is if you haven't seen that film, first of all, get around to it. It's great. It's a classic. Probably no coincidence that a trans person is talking to you about Mulan and The Little Mermaid as their favorite Disney movies, but, is what it is. Frozen is probably third because lesbian. So for I'll Make a Man Out of You, the classic song sung by that Chinese actor Donny Osmond, which is a whole other thing. He's just a singing voice. But nevertheless, the song is about like men talking about like, being manly men, and the leader of the troop is like, I need you to be manlier. And it's funny because he doesn't know that one of the people he's talking to is a woman in disguise. But they did it with all women dressed in like modern day fatigues, if I'm using that word correctly, like modern camo, and just it brought a new energy to the song, like a lineup of women singing about being a man. It was like they really queered it in something that was already pretty queer. But yeah, I remember that was the moment, just like wow, burlesque is incredible. Like that was the thing that really hit my brain. Who was in that one? I want a Sunday Morning, Hillary Skank, who I don't think is performing anymore. But what a name. That's the other thing is like burlesque. You get to come up with your alter ego. It's like being a slutty superhero. So it's being She-Hulk, but for real. And doing it with pride and kicking ass and having something to say. And my God, isn't burlesque just the best? I've become giddy. This is about as giddy as I've been since I had to pretend to be Doc Brown. So 2 episodes ago, go check that one out. So anyway, ooh man, I have not had a sponsored topic in a while, and I'm like, how am I going to fill some time? I can tell you about my burlesque journey. So I started as a fan, just watching and being like, this is amazing. And apparently if you're in the front row enough, they just say, hey, you want to host this thing? This is truly my in to burlesque hosting. I started out hosting. I have experience as a comedian, as an improviser. And it was just fascinating. They needed a host. I think the regular host, I think Mr. Fucksmart, was sick, and somebody told somebody else that like I did improv and I'm at every show, so maybe I can get up there. So I got up there and I hosted a few. Gosh, I'm trying to remember some of the stuff I did now. Not to have it go to my head. I hosted as Cupid. I hosted as God. I hosted as Mother Nature. All really, really fun. And then the inevitable sad thing, I don't want to say the P word 3 times because you know who shows up if you listen to the bonus episodes. If you don't, forget I said anything. But yeah, right around, let's say the L word, but not, that one. Though I need to start that soon. So around the lockdown, I was going to be Steve Irwin. It was going to be an animal-themed show, and I was going to wear glittery booty shorts. And, you know, I was about to try the Steve Irwin accent, but let's save that for a future gimmick, actually. I don't know if I've done that one. I was a huge Steve Irwin fan as a kid. That's the other thing about burlesque. Like, you take something you love and you recontextualize it, and that's what's just so amazing about it. I cannot wait to see the spins that people are going to put on all these Lady Gaga songs. And you might be asking, well, Billy, are you a Lady Gaga fan? Yes, I love Christmas Tree. It's the best Lady Gaga song featuring Space Cowboy. Currently, at the space-time coordinates I'm at right now, it's not Christmas yet. We're still winding up for Halloween, or depending on how goth you are, you've already been celebrating Halloween for a month. Yeah, coming up on the end of September. I'm kind of secretly hoping somebody does Lady Gaga's Christmas song. I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're going to get all the big hits. I haven't seen A Star Is Born. I don't know if I need to know that going into the show, but I think you will have a fantastic time at the show. Some characters are walking by and giving me the eye. Now they're looking at me. All right, yeah. No one's brave enough to come be on the show yet, but I'm sure somebody will soon. We still got we got 10 minutes, I think. Of course, I got to talk about burlesque for 10 more minutes. What did I do? Okay, I'm trying to think of some of the routines I did. When I was Cupid, that was for a love-themed show. That was for Valentine's. Actually, we did a song from Frozen, ironically, not the Disney show. But we did Love is an Open Door, the best villain song in history. I remember that one. Okay, it was me and Marilyn Mellons, who I think is still performing. That's another thing in burlesque, is you don't know if somebody's name has changed, their stage name or the name they identify with. My name's changed a few times since I started. I went by Bear Claw Billy on stage as well, also as, another alias I don't use anymore. But, I really kind of had it as like this all-encompassing thing. Everybody's really admiring the statue of Temperance Monument here. So I did one. I hosted as Cupid, and then I did a number where we came out as, looking back, it really feels like neurodivergence as a bit. And I'm kind of loving looking back at the things I like and the things I connect with, and realizing like, oh, this actually kind of connects to how I feel about myself. And really that bit was about, let me explain the bit. I realize I haven't gotten to that. So we're singing Love is an Open Door, and we're taking our clothes off. And when they come off, you start to see that one of us is wearing all Superman stuff and the other one is wearing all Batman stuff. And so we fall madly in love when we realize, oh, we both love superheroes. We have this in common. I don't think a car is supposed to be where a car just was. If you're watching the video version, those were some bright headlights. I loved that routine because it was fun. I got to make some Superman panties and wear them, so that was fun. Then there was a 7 Deadly Sins themed show, and you're never going to believe this, but a lot of burlesque is analyzing religion for some reason. I don't know. It's like a thing that's important in people's lives, but also needs to be criticized and commented on. Anyway, so I hosted as God, and my co-host was Satan. Eddie Lockwood. Once again, I don't know if people are still going by these stage names, so I apologize. All right, some more people are wondering what's going on here, and that's totally cool. If they want to be on the show, they can be. So I hosted that one as God. I did the 7 Deadly Sins. I ended up being in a number. I actually wasn't planning on it, and I can't dance. So, some burlesque is more dance focused, some is more striptease focused, some is more comedy focused. It can be anything you want. Get into it. Get on board. If you've ever wondered if burlesque is right for you, make it right for you. Give it a try and make it what you want it to be. I was God. Joe Esposito, Karate Kid. You're the best around. I represented the sin of pride, which I thought was great because I was playing God. So, I'm proud of all my works, of all my creations. So, yeah, it was just me being like really egotistical about like, you heard of Earth? I made that. And I made like all these fake headlines that were like, God's latest book, a hit. The Bible, of course. My personal favorite, if I can just go up my own ass and compliment myself for my own jokes, was, is there anything God can't do? No, seriously, we're asking. I was proud of that. So, yeah, I think... Oh, wait. I forgot another show. I also hosted a Greek mythology show as Zeus. I had lightning bolt pasties, which is just, if you're going to make pasties, go for the lightning bolts. Got to look from somebody on lightning bolt pasties. I have strategically angled my camera, so I'm not capturing that many people on film, digital film, unless they want to be, because blurring faces is a nightmare. See the special features on the Trader Joe's episode. Anyway, I totally forgot about the Greek mythology show. Man, who was in that? This is all ancient history, fitting because it's Greek history. But yeah, I've been around the block. And then, yeah, there was the Steve Irwin show that I didn't get to do. I think I had 2 burlesque shows and a stand-up show lined up, and I don't really do a lot of that anymore. But, you can tell I'm not very comfortable with a mic. Right, folks? What are we drinking over here? So there are actually restaurants here in Monument Square. I can see people dining or people thinking about dining or people milling about, making phone calls. Right now, people are having, like, a fake fight. And I'm kind of mesmerized. I feel like I shouldn't swing the camera over, but I like the choreography I'm seeing over here. I think they've, of course, heard me talking about them, and now they've stopped, so that's not as fun. What else? I'll leave you with this. No, I'm not ready to leave you yet. Oh, boy, I want you to get your money's worth, Carmina. By the way, Carmina donated $20, and that is exactly what it costs to see Little Monsters, the Lady Gaga burlesque show. So, spoilers, I guess, I'll be there. So, if you go to the show, you should go for them. Don't worry about me, but I'll be there. So, and I'll probably talk about it on a future episode. Probably a bonus episode, if I'm being honest. Which reminds me, as I was starting to talk about Gradients, a BIPOC show, I realized that was already a topic on a bonus episode. I believe it's Joe Pera Talked to Me is the name of the episode. So if you're on the Patreon or if you're thinking about it, head over there and I'll tell you about BIPOC. Gradients, a BIPOC show. I always get them backwards. BIPOC, a Gradients show I would also watch if that's just, BIPOC people coming out and teaching you about Photoshop. You can hear me talk about that on the Patreon. Consider joining the Patreon. I did mention up at the top of the show, I am still really hurting for money, folks. Gotta raise $600, and so far I've raised $20 that I'm going to a burlesque show with. But don't worry about that, folks. Worry about getting down to see Little Monsters, Lady Gaga burlesque. Again, that is at Empire Live, which is that way if you're watching the video version. Can I see the sign from here? Maybe I can see it from here. Nope, no luck. Can't see it from here, but it's like right that way. It's like 3 minutes. 3-minute walk. Go see yourself some amazing burlesque, some incredible performers. I might get the iPad out once again and just let you know who's in the show, but you're gonna want to check it out. If you're anybody who's anybody, if you're a cool person, if you're not like those squares, you're gonna want to check out Lady Gaga Burlesque at Empire Live. Again, that's Saturday, September 30th at 8 p.m., $20. You can get your tickets online. Oh, almost forgot that part. Links in the description of the podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, it might not be there because the YouTube, I don't need to get into the specifics, but those are, I'm making the video versions free after a year, but there's not a whole lot of information down there. I should probably do that, but I'm a very busy person who's trying to raise $600. Anyway, go! Run, don't walk to Little Monsters, presented by Them Burlesque. I don't know if I said the names of all the burlesque troupes, and some of the ones from my past, I forgot. Voulez-vous? I don't know if they're operational anymore, but I used to work with them. So there's not Them Burlesque. Oh, man. All right. I've turned myself all around backwards. You know what's really confusing? When a bunch of non-binary people date and you're like, are they coming? That's fun. By the way, yes, they are coming. Anyway, whoopsie doodles and whatnot. Sorry. I'm in love with so many people right now, and sometimes I slip up and I don't talk about it. But you know what? It's good. I'm moving on. I've especially moved on from one particular little monster who shall not be named, and I never want to see on this show again, but I don't know how to uninvite him from the gimmick zone. If anyone knows any rituals, I feel like the witchy people are coming out. It is the witching season, the witching time. Let me know if you know any rituals to get vampires off your podcast, because I need them. It has been a comfort that they haven't been coming around, but just the peace of mind to know that they're out there. Anyway, one more time, Little Monsters, Empire Live, Portland, Maine, America, USA, Earth. Check it out. Please, you are going to have such a good time. I'll be there, so I'll wink at you or whatever you want. And it's just going to be the definition of a hoot, folks. As always, go see Little Monsters. Not the movie with Howie Mandel, but I haven't watched it in a while. I don't know if it holds up, but see Lady Gaga Burlesque.